I want to talk about the idea of residing in joy versus pursuing your purpose. I'll put a little picture on the screen here, and it's like a map of consciousness and the different levels of consciousness. And if you can see here, joy is on top of purpose. And if you're following the thing that you enjoy, you will internalize a certain level of happiness, a certain level of expression that you won't be able to tap into by solely following what you believe to be your purpose. I've got an idea of my purpose to do all of these charitable acts, to essentially just put myself out there and help as many people as I possibly can. And I have these really huge ambitions to be able to help thousands and thousands of people through creating solutions in water and food and electricity. And that is a really big job. That's a huge job that I would have to figure out, essentially. And although it will create happiness and joy within myself, it will be a lot of work. And it's not that I don't have the intention of doing that. It's just that if I let that purpose, or what I have defined my purpose to be, if I let that consume me, then I'm not going to experience the depth of joy that I could experience if I just did what I enjoyed. If I am able to not sacrifice the things that I truly enjoy in order to pursue this self-defined, self-diagnosed purpose, then I'm able to tap into a more free-spirited, joyful, flow state like self on a more of a consistent basis, and through that understand and activate and upskill the things that bring me true joy. True joy. Because the responsibility of helping out millions of people is a huge task. And that takes quite a lot out of you, I think. It's quite I wouldn't say it's a burden, but I thought that was my purpose. I thought that was my, that's the thing that I've come to this earth to do. And that's the thing that I need to do, because I'm here and I have these intentions and I have the ability to organise, and I have the ability to organise myself and organise ideas and all of that. So why not use it for the greatest cause possible? But there's another side of things where if I'm able to tap into my flow state, joyous self, which, for example, I can tap into when I'm freestyling with a band, creating music on the spot. That is just pure, unfiltered happiness, joy, flow state joy. And figuring out how to solve world hunger, although that would be an absolutely astonishing task to accomplish, that it doesn't activate the same level of flow, and you need such an abundance of resources to be able to achieve something like that. And sometimes it's literally fighting against the ocean. It's you're swimming against the currents. The reason why there are people who are starving to death and not having access to electricity is a systemic problem. a historical problem, like something that requires hundreds of years to solve, essentially. So to put that weight on my shoulders personally is it's a burden almost. But then when you let go of that, when I let go of my purpose and what I believe to be my purpose, remember, because that is also a belief that I could have conjured up in my own like self-delusion, like grandeur self-delusion, but on a positive scale of things, then that's also a belief that I have created, based off of me looking at the world, seeing the world state and wanting to benefit it and wanting to improve that state. That's also an idea that I have personally created. That doesn't mean that is my soul's purpose. Like that doesn't mean that that is something that I have to do in my incarnation on Earth. It just means that it's almost ego as well. It's almost ego that it has essentially created the idea of someone who is charitable, of someone who gives back, of someone who will leave a legacy of goodwill and good nature. Like that's also ego. Like ego isn't just the bad nature. It's not just impulsive thinking. It is not just personality. Like ego is not even just that. You can also have positive ego, and when you take that to the end of the scale of positive ego, then you kind of are tipped on the other side of the boat, where you then become overly self-sacrificing, and then from there then you can almost be taken advantage of because you're overly self-sacrificing, because your ego is too heavily on the side of helping others. Like you can help yourself, and through helping yourself then you actually be able to help other people. So if you can help yourself by tapping into your infinite joy on a constant basis, then you might actually be able to leave more of a positive impact on the world versus chasing your purpose. But I think that understanding or even conceiving of a purpose allows you to then understand that you can step into the shoes of someone who is able to do that. Because if you don't even believe that you could achieve something of a positive nature, then how could you graduate to believing in yourself and believing in your ability to stay balanced, to stay consistent in a high vibration of joy? Because you can very easily delve and dive into the vibrations of hatred, into the vibrations of shame, of fear. And it's a hard task to be able to understand how to live in joy. Like it's not just be happy and then that's it. Like it's actually like learning how to conjure and manufacture the elixir of life. Like it's the elixir of happiness, and learning to tap into that and learning how to create that for yourself is one of the best things that you could possibly do. And a part of that is understanding why are you here? Like what is it that you're doing here? Learning that, and then even putting that to one side. Because if you spend your whole life chasing the idea of what you think that you're here for, how sure are you that you are going in the right direction? Like how sure are you that that thing that you've made it so real, you've made it like your absolute purpose, like you've figured it out, you've figured out why you're on planet Earth, you've figured out why you've incarnated in this time, in this body, in this place, in this environment. You think that you figured it all out, so then you spend all your time, all your effort doing all of these things, when in actuality that's also an idea that you have constructed Like that is also something that your mind has constructed, and it's like a possibility of the answer of why you're here. But in actual fact, like, is there one purpose? Is there one reason why anyone's here? Or are there just like, there are people who become what is needed in the time, and that is almost orchestrated by Mother Earth, by the collective consciousness. So, how do you even tap into joy? Like, I personally think that tapping into joy is learning to let go of your expectations and requirements of what you say needs to happen in order to become happy, because then you place conditions on happiness. You put conditions on maintaining and tapping into the frequency of joy, happiness, and love. You literally put conditions on an energy that can be tapped into no matter what. And I know there's this whole thing of like, how could you do that when someone does you wrong and does that and does that? And like, I do think that there is a balance that occurs. Like, we don't just need to experience love to like be on the highest frequency. I think that is also an idea as well, and that we do experience these emotions. We do experience grief. We do experience sadness. We do experience like these things, but I think that we experience grief, we experience sadness because of our attachment to certain ideas, attachments to ideas of manners, attached to people, to places, to jobs. That's why we get sad when we lose those things, because we were attached to it and a part of us has been let go of. So again, yeah, like it's human to feel emotion. But love, like unconditional love, is like the most weightless feeling. It is the most weightless feeling because you don't have strong attachment to things going one way or another. You have the flexibility and ability to be nimble in your emotional regularity and your emotional expression. And it may seem cold-hearted to not be attached to people, but then also if you are attached to someone, that's not a bad thing, but you are putting your emotional regularity on like within that person. But you can have love for someone and not be attached to them mentally. Like if anything happens, you can still have the strength within yourself to be able to just be like, it is what it is. It isn't what it isn't, and I can move on with my life with or without this person. And I've gone through this experience with family, with friends, with opportunities, with like environments, with physical environments that like I live, like moving from A to B, and that then also goes back to the idea of weightlessness, and the highest form of consciousness is unconditional love, because unconditional love is like every single moment is a diamond. Like every single moment of experience is the like every single moment is essentially like because you've not put like experiences on like a scale. You've just put experience as experience, and you're not just like weighing up everything and saying this is better and that's worse and this is better and that's worse. Like every experience is essentially like equal. But then there's also the side of like, there is a scale that happens, like one burger, it could just objectively be better than another burger. But I'm not saying that's wrong. I feel like that's fun to do. But on the back end of that, like if you're disappointed that this burger is so much worse than a burger that you've had in the past, then you're allowing your emotions to become saddened or disappointed because of your attachment of what you want a burger to be. And like, it's okay to like have preferences. It's okay to like have a favorite color. It's okay to think that one house is better than another. It's okay to think that one burger is better than another. But then it depends on how you kind of like act within that frame. Like, if you think that one house is 10 times better than another, if you were in the other house that's worse than the one that you thought was 10 times better, if you live there, then are you going to allow your happiness to be 10 times worse because you're in a house that you think is 10 times worse than the other house? Like, that would be a that would be a shame to yourself, you know, because experience and consciousness doesn't need anything in order to reach a state of equilibrium. And you personally are kind of like on that tightrope. You are on that balancing act. And the more you learn to balance on that tightrope, the thicker it becomes. And slowly but surely then it becomes a plank of wood. And you can find balance quite easily. And then that plank of wood slowly becomes a footpath, and that footpath becomes a bridge. And you're able to stay balanced in the frequency of love, of unconditional love, a lot easier. But it's just about learning to walk on that tightrope whilst understanding that the elements are still going to be there, you know? And that's why I'm talking about the spectrum of experience. Like, learning to walk on a tightrope doesn't just like make wind and rain obsolete. Like, there will be storms that occurs, but it's dependent on your ability to stay balanced in that storm, to stay balanced in the experience that is happening around you. And that's what allows you to be in that frequency of love, in that kind of flow state of, coming back to the start of the video, of joy, of unfiltered, untethered, pure joy. Like, cats don't care. Like, cats are just chilling. Like, I've never seen a sad cat. I've never seen like a happy cat. Like, they're just chilling. They're so zen and just there. There's a cat here. I'll leave you with that. I think I've rambled on for too long. God bless, good luck, stay in joy, release attachments, maybe don't think too heavily about your purpose, believe in yourself, believe in your ability to achieve the things that you want to in life. Stay balanced, stay connected to yourself, and try not to allow life to beat you any which way. Bless.